Hello, welcome everyone to lecture number 35 of Fundamentals of Computing. This lecture is on Internet and WW. In the last 2 or 3 lectures, I have been discussing about the Internet and the WWW, the features of a WW, features of Internet also. So, next question comes into the mind, what is the difference between Internet and WWW? So, the topics that I am going to cover in this lectures are the components of Internet, components of WWW, and how the Internet is different from the WWW, and what are the challenges of World Wide Web, and there are the terms Internet, intranet and extranet. So, what are these? How the Internet is different from intranet and extranet, and lastly the difference between the Internet and the World Wide Web. So, let us just start with the components of a Internet. Internet is nothing but, you can say that it is a network of networks. So, network of networks means what? It is having a network of a LAN and MAN-WAN, that is the local area networks, wide area networks and the metropolitan area networks. In some books you might have seen that the definition is written as Internet is a WAN. So, okay, that is also true in some sense. So, let us just start with what are the components of a Internet. From the diagram you see that first one is a client server, then other one is the protocols that are used for the data transmission. So, we have already gone through what are the different type of networks, LAN, MAN, WAN, what are the transmission media, that is the guided or unguided, and then what are the network devices that are used and what are the protocols. So, first component is a client. Client is nothing but it refers to the device. So, it can be any device, it may be laptop, your smartphone or your personal computer which requests the Internet. Second one is the server. Server is what? That responds to the request sent by the client. Okay. So, it means what? The server stores documents in the form of web pages and distributes them over the Internet. Third one is the protocol. So, protocol, it is nothing but it is the set of rules that has to be followed for the communication among the computer devices connected over the network. So, this may be of various type, some of them that I have discussed in details in my previous lecture was the HTTP, TCP IP, FTP and SMTP also. So, these are the set of rules. This diagram shows there are two computers, one is 1, 2, 3, 4 and the one is indicated as another computer, how the communicate for establishing a communication between them, where there we use these protocols. Next component is a transmission media. This transmission media may be guided or unguided. So, which is used to connect the different devices over the network. So, from figure you see that it is the here it is cables and there is Wi-Fi also. So, this transmission media it may be your guided or unguided, or you can say wired or using cables. So, in the case of a wire transmission, we may have a twisted pair cables, coaxial, fiber optic cable. In case of wireless media, we can have a radio waves, infrared waves, or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So, these are basically used to, you can say, these are the physical medium through which the data is transmitted from one device to another, connected through the internet. Another component is the network infrastructure. So, network infrastructure that may include the network of routers, switches, cables and hardware that enables the transmission of a data, and this is maintained by the ISP, that is the internet service providers. We have already discussed the various types of a topology, that is a tree, bus, mesh, star or the ring topology that defines the structure of a network. Then another component is a search engine, and or you can say www, that is the World Wide Web. What it does? It provides the platform to access the information available on World Wide Web using keys or URLs, that is the domain names, and a search engine gives relevant result based on the ranking and indexing of the web pages. So, this was all about the components of our internet. We have gone through the World Wide Web. World Wide Web is nothing but it's a collection of public websites and the web pages. So, what are the components of a World Wide Web? First one is the web page. What is the web page? It is the basic unit of a World Wide Web, and it's a page which is designed by code, usually written in hypertext markup language that we call as HTML, that includes text, images, audios, hyperlink and other multimedia elements. We can also have static and dynamic web pages. In the case of a static web pages, there no changes can be done, the content remains the same while accessing the website. There we use the HTML. For dynamic web pages, we go for the XML, JavaScripts and others, PHP and all. So, that was about the web page, and the collection of interlinked and related web pages is nothing but it's a websites. So, web page is a basic unit of www, and the collection of these web pages makes the websites. So, this web page I already discussed, it may be static or it may be dynamic, that depends upon how their content is generated and delivered to the user. So, what is the difference between the static and dynamic web page? When we talk about the content, in the case of a static, it remains fixed. So, it is delivered as it is to the users, whereas in the case of a dynamic web pages, it is generated on demand and can be personalized. So, that you might have gone through while creating your email account. When we talk about the feature server side, in the case of static web page, no server side processing is there. So, no reliability on databases, but in the case of dynamic web pages, it relies on server side scripting and often databases. On the content change, static web pages requires manual code editing, whereas in the case of a dynamic web pages, it is often managed through content management system, or you can say server side logic. Loading speed of static web page is obviously faster than that of the dynamic web page, because it is complex, and since static web page is what nothing can be changed, it remains fixed for all users. So, its hosting is simpler and it's less resource intensive, whereas dynamic web pages becomes more complex and requires server side support. In the case of interactivity, the static web page has the limited interactivity, whereas dynamic web pages have a these are highly interactive and driven by server and client side. Static web page is a simple, so it is best for infrequent content updates where you just want to display the information about some item or something that is not going to be changed. In that particular case, one can use the static web pages. But for frequent updates and user interaction, the dynamic web pages are preferred. Example of a static web page, it is a simple HTML pages, that is informational or documentation website you can say, whereas dynamic web pages, that is the e-commerce websites that keeps on changing and you can do the updates on it. So, it may be Amazon or Flipkart, any social media platform, that is a Facebook or Twitter, any banking applications or the news websites. So, in short, what we say in the case of static, it has a fixed content that is not going to be changed, but in the case of a dynamic, that content can be generated on demand. Second component is a hyperlink. Hyperlink is nothing but these are the elements that are clickable and this links to another web pages or elements. Third one is the web browser. Web browser is nothing but it serves as a client that users use as interface to access the web pages. There are various types of web browsers. First one is the Netscape Navigator, then we have Microsoft Edge, Mozilla, Google Chrome, all these are the Opera Mini, these are the different type of web browsers. Another one is the web server. Web servers are nothing but these are the powerful computers that store websites files and deliver them as a web pages when requested by a client or you can say the user through using the web browsers. HTTP, this is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It governs the data communication between web browsers and servers to exchange information. Nowadays, the people asked to use HTTPS in place of HTTP because it is means what the secure version of a HTTP. For secured access, we prefer the HTTPS. URL, this is nothing but it is a uniform resource locator that is a unique address used to identify and locate a web page on World Wide Web. So, these are the components and this diagram shows how the web page is designed by using a HTML, that is a hypertext markup language. So, this file name is first HTML.html. So, the text file is saved with .html extension. HTML extension means what? It is a HTML file which is used for the designing of the web page, and HTML code is written in the text editor. Usually we used to write in the notepad. So, these are the codes which are written. What does it mean for writing? What is a computer? So, this you see as a heading. So, here we use a tag, that is the H1, and then we describe about this computer. So, that is the body of the web page. For paragraph, there are the tags P. So, we can use different tags are available for headings, subheadings, paragraphs and others when we use HTML codes for designing a web page. This gives just an idea of how the web page is designed by using the HTML codes. There are challenges of the internet and World Wide Web. These challenges are common. Trojan horse, this is nothing but it is a type of a malware, and that is going to harm your files. Data breach, that is the unauthorized access to the confidential information. DDoS attack, that is a distributed denial of a service. It attacks is a malicious attempt to disturb normal traffic of specific server. Credit card fraud, this is also done by the unauthorized access or by the hackers. The worm is what that replicates itself and spread to the other computers. So, it will consume more memory of the system. Phishing, it is an illegal attempt to gather personal data through deceptive emails and websites. Brute force attack, it allows the hackers to access account by alphanumeric combination of your password. So, although you have given a password, but that has been hacked and your email or other personal information can be retrieved by using it. Botnets, it is a network of private computers which are infected by malicious software to send malicious state. Email malware, this is used to distribute malware via email. You usually see this type of picture. This indicates that do not open this without scanning it, otherwise it is going to harm the files and the data in your system. Then logic bomb, it is nothing but it is a piece of a code in a software system that will malicious function when conditions are met. So, this is also going to harm your confidential data or the information which has been stored in your system. So, the challenge is what? How to prevent these threats. So, this can be done by using, in the case of a password, that is why we call as we often suggest to use a complex password. So, that is not easy to crack, and you should be careful of what you access online. Do not open all the emails. If you download some attachment with it, so scan it first and then download it, and keep your device updated with the latest security features. So, in this way you can prevent these online threats. So, let us discuss in detail about the challenges. First one is the security threats. So, there are various security threats to the websites. These are the vulnerable to cyber attacks, that is such as malware, viruses, ransomware, spyware, phishing, hacking, data breaches that I have discussed over here, and there are distributed denial of service attacks that target the server by flood of internet traffic. So, we always suggest you to use antivirus as a prevention. Privacy concerns, I will discuss in detail about these viruses, malware, ransomware and spyware, phishing, etc. in my coming lectures in detail. Meanwhile, you just know these are going to harm your computer system, because it is going to damage your data or the files that are stored in your system, and system won't work properly. So, this should be avoided. Another challenge is a privacy concern. The surveillance and tracking by governments or organization monitoring online activities raises privacy violation concerns. Websites collect user data sometimes without consent and transparency. So, this can be used for the harmful purpose if it is collected without your knowledge. Another one is misinformation and disinformation, means spreading of false or misleading information that can influence a public opinion and cause fear. Nowadays, it is very common, the people used to write something or post something that is a fake news on the website, some fake images. So, that will cause a fear. And another one is challenges are digital divide, that is the unequal access based on geographical as well as social factors, lack of skills and accessibility to use the internet and related technology. Content moderation and governance is also a challenge. It is a challenge of hate speech and online harassment. The global nature of the web makes it difficult to enforce laws and regulations across different countries. Dependence and addiction. The biggest challenge is the dependence and addiction, that is the excessive use of the internet that impact our social life or well-being. You can say it is going to affect our health also. The excessive use may cause anxiety, depression, or you can say health wise or the obesity and related to your migraine, headaches, eyesight problems. So, too much use of this internet can affect the health as well as the social life. People are more interested on interacting online while meeting physically in the sense by visiting their place. They prefer the online meeting, they want to talk on the through video conferencing and all. So, that human touch is not there. So, this is the biggest challenge that the society is not now facing. So, there are some terms that I already said: internet, intranet and extranet. So, let us discuss about what is the difference between internet and intranet. Internet is publicly accessible, whereas intranet is restricted to authorized users. Internet has a global audience, whereas intranet is accessed by the employees of an organization. Internet is generally less secure than as compared to the intranet. Its scope of the internet is worldwide, whereas intranet is limited to an organization. Internet is distributed, whereas intranet is centrally controlled by the organization. Internet has a global communication, information, etc. Its use is for this, whereas intranet is used for internal communication, collaboration and resources. So, internet is what? It is the network of networks, whereas intranet is, this is owned by a organization where the employees can interact with each other by using the network. This diagram shows the three type of this intranet, extranet and intranet. Intranet is available worldwide and it has nobody, it is a public network you can say, and it is not owned by anyone, whereas extranet it is a private network and here it is owned by a single or you can say multiple organizations, whereas intranet is nothing but it is owned by an organization where the employees can share data or information among each other. So, this is the difference between the internet, intranet and extranet. So, what I have discussed, the internet is, it is not owned by anyone. So, it is a public network, anyone can use it, whereas extranet it is nothing but it is a private network, and if it is a private it means what? It is owned by a single or multiple organization, and whereas intranet it is also a private network and owned by a single organization. So, this is a difference between the internet, extranet and intranet. So, what is the difference between internet and www? So, by the definition, internet is a global network of interconnected computers, whereas www is a system for accessing information over the internet. Nature wise, internet as infrastructure, hardware based, whereas World Wide Web this provides service and it is a software based. Protocols that is used in the internet is a transmission control protocol, internet protocol, whereas in www it is a hypertext transfer protocol or hypertext transfer protocol secure. Internet carries all type of digital data, whereas www it primarily hypertext documents, that is the web pages. Internet required for many online activities, whereas World Wide Web it requires an internet connection and a web browser. Examples of the internet is a email that uses SMTP, file transfer protocol, online, voice over the internet, that is a video conferencing, Skype and Google Hangouts. These are the examples, whereas examples of www is the websites, online documents, images and videos. So, in short we can say that internet is a global network of computers all connected to each other, whereas the World Wide Web or web for short is nothing but it is a collection of web pages found on this global network of computers. A web browser uses the internet to access the World Wide Web. So, this is all about the internet and the World Wide Web. Thank you.